Michael Yo's got his own show. Michael Yo's got his own show. If you're looking for a place to go, the only place to go is the Yo Show. The only place to go is the Yo Show.
Brian Scolaro
Hi.
in the building. He's a comedian, actor. You know, we were hanging backstage at the Cellar, and I wanted to get you on the podcast because you got so many great stories. And I love how, I'm going to give people what you told me really quick.
Sure.
You started comedy, but then you blew up in acting for like a hot 7-8 years.
Yeah.
You were on a lot of things, and now you're back to comedy. And I love your journey through that.
Well, it was a sad journey because the first, I started comedy right at the Comedy Cellar in 90.
You started there.
Yeah. Well, there was Boston Comedy Club, which is where all the Cellar comedians would go without rules. So it was around the corner. So we would go there. And
Wait, there was a place called the Boston Comedy Club in New York, across the street from the Cellar.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all the Cellar guys would play there too. There was like a deal, like you can just not play there the same nights, right? So we would go there and we would practice our stuff, and then we'd take the stuff that worked and bring it to the Cellar. Robert Kelly brought me into the Cellar. First of all, I got to say that the Cellar in like 95 to 2001, they would have one show, it would go from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. It would always be closed bar de Fuqua. And it was fantastic. Like you're watching Patrice, then Jim Norton, then Greg Giraldo, and Nick DiPaolo, and then like Bill Burr, and then D.C. Benny. It was all just boom, 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 Tony Rock all the way through. And it was like that. None of them were famous yet. They were all in their mid-30s, so the prime of their life.
Yep.
And there was no PC, no internet, so you couldn't get in trouble. Everything was edgy. And it was probably the best experience of my life was just watching those Comedy Cellar shows for every day for like 5 years.
Well, now those names you say we know.
Yeah,
because
but back then you didn't. Yeah.
You didn't know it, but was there still that pressure because they crushed back?
It was everybody was killing, and the only way to play the room was to kill. I always say there's a great line in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where he says, if you look out the window with the right pair of eyes, you can see the high water mark where the wave finally broke and rolled back. Mm-hmm. To me, the greatest moments in comedy was 95 to 2001 in the Cellar. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my life. Everybody was killer. Everybody. Occasionally, Chappelle would come by and Jon Stewart, and they were famous. And Colin Quinn. But everybody, it was just, the show was boom, 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 all the way through. The only thing you had to do was kill. That's all you had to do.
And I find it interesting. Like I went to the Cellar for the first time just 2 weeks ago, the one in New York City.
Yeah.
And I performed, and
it's fun, right?
It went like you said. There's killers. Every person's a killer.
Yeah.
And then you go on and you kill, and it's just like it's this. Oh, I belong here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Well, nobody knew my name in New York. No other comics knew my name. But the first week I got past the Cellar, they all suddenly knew my name. It was tremendous. So then from there, I got thrown on I did an NBC pilot and an NBC sitcom. They threw me on the pilot didn't go, but they threw me on a sitcom.
Now, did they discover you at the Cellar?
No. I happen to have a really good theatrical manager. A lot of people go comedic manager, and that's who gets you the personal appearance agent, put you in the clubs. I went theatrical. I had a theatrical manager who got me a good theatrical agent, and I got thrown on TV as an actor. And so I remember Tony Rock was on stage. I went on stage and I told everybody, I'm moving to LA. I'm going to be on a TV show. And then people were like, yeah, okay. And then Tony Rock went on stage and goes, no, I don't think you people realize. Yeah, right. He's going to be on a fucking sitcom. And the crowd was like, it was such a good send off. And then what's sad about it is the sitcom, it lasted 2 years, but 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks into the show's run.
What was the name of the show?
It was called Three Sisters. It's right there. Nobody knows. But it was on right before Frasier. And Emerald was the sitcom that led us in. And I would say to Laurie Kilmartin, Emerald was too jarring after 9/11. You don't want to hear a guy go, bam!
Yeah, right.
So nobody a lot of people, but it was a good show and I got to learn to act with network money. Then I had an ABC holding deal.
But hold on, who was on the show with you?
The girl I had the biggest crush on. Mm-hmm. You might be too young for this. Mm-hmm. My so-called life, there was a girl called AJ Langer.
Okay.
She's the girl in lingerie in Escape from LA. Man, she's pretty. I played her boyfriend back when I was thin and cute. And Diane Cannon and Vicki Lewis from News Radio.
How do you walk that line between, I act too, but I haven't. Well, let me say this. How do you walk that line between? And you're single at the time. I'm married, so it's no problem.
I told her I was attracted to her right away. That was such a stupid. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Did it make it weird the whole time then?
She was no, she was a pro.
Okay.
And everybody was really nice to me, and I was so gung ho to be happy. I was so happy. Like now, when you see me, I'm angry and bitter backstage.
You're not.
I'm drinking. I'm talking shit. But like, I was a really happy person back then. But then after that, I did there was an ABC pilot, and then we shot it again. And then I had a CBS holding deal, and then I had the Fox sitcom with Christopher Lloyd and Pam Anderson called Stacked. And that was the best part of my life. And then the fucking writer's strike happened, followed by the economy collapse. And so my momentum died as an actor. So I do a lot of guest roles now, but my time as a regular was pulled away because of the writer's strike. Because everyone got shoved down a level.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden David Spade went from movies to TV. Kevin Bacon went from movies to TV.
Well, because they're not making as many movies, so now the movie actors are television actors, which pushes the people.
Yeah. It pushed me down to guest role. So I play a lot of gym coaches on Disney Channel now.
How do you like the Disney Channel?
I like it, but the girls are really cute. They're only 16. You're like,
okay, don't say that.
I better go to my room. Don't
say that out loud.
What I'm saying is I stay in my room.
Okay.
I stay in my room. It doesn't help they put me in sweatpants a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Some of them are 18.
I'm not taking part in this conversation. No, but what's cool about working with kids, because I worked on a show on Apple with kids, you're done at 5.
Yeah, the kids got to be done.
They got what they call them pumpkins. They got to they got to be gone. And that I never worked in where these people are shooting 14, 15-hour days.
Those are rough.
Yeah.
Pam Anderson was cool because her children were young, so she wanted to drop them off at school and pick them up at school. So we didn't start work until 10 a.m., and then we were done by 2 p.m.
Isn't it?
So we're talking like, what is it, a 5-hour day? It was a blast.
I mean, when you're on set with Pam Anderson, like back then she was on every calendar, like she was the it girl. How was she? Was she nice?
She was really great, man. Yeah. She was, I'll tell you a good story. She said to me, she said next to me, she goes, who's Ali G? And I go, because Ali G was the biggest guy right then. I go, why? She goes, he wants me to do his movie. I go, do it. She's like, no, but you think? I go, do it. So she was at the end of Borat. I say because of me. But also she was really giving. Like she was doing Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel's show was down the street from my house. And she goes, I'm doing Kimmel. I was like, I live down the street. She goes, come. So I went to visit. And in the beginning they show pictures of people like coming up, Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
So she grabs me and she kisses me and opens my shirt and starts kissing me. And then they take a picture, and they go, okay, now we just want one of you. And she goes, no, use that one. Like she wanted me to she shared her celebrity with me. It was
so the opening of Kimmel is her kissing you?
Yeah, it's great. But, so you know how much I got laid that week from other people? Because like I walked into the green room, all the girls were like, who's this fat guy walking in with Pam Anderson? It was a great job.
Now you're on TV, you're living the Hollywood life. You're probably making about $30,000 a week.
$32,000 an episode for 2 years. And Christopher Lloyd's there. I'm working with
How many episodes are you shooting a year?
The first one was short. First one was 6. We had 6 guaranteed to go on TV.
Yep.
And then the next one was like 19. Yeah, it was one. It was on Hulu. I think they just pulled it.
And then since you're on that show, everybody knows you're in Hollywood now. Now, are you at the store? Are you at the Laugh Factory?
I'm at the store now a lot, yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about back then in your...
No, because you know what?
Did you kind of fall off of comedy? You stopped doing it?
No, I did. But you know what definitely... when moving from New York, having 10 spots a night, 8 spots a night, moving to LA and having 2 spots a week, that was a difficult transition. To go from writing... You could write a joke at 7 p.m. in New York, and it could be perfected by midnight. Yeah. Now suddenly it's taken you months and months to perfect a joke. And then you go back home and Jim Norton has only an hour, and you feel like a heel. You feel like a dick.
They're like, you're saying the same jokes you did when you left.
Yeah, but they understood. Jim Norton would be like, you're on TV, we know that.
Yeah.
And they were all so supportive. Like that's one thing about New York comics I love. The support is huge. They support each other so well. And like they put each other in things. Like Amy Schumer got a show and David Tell's in the movie and Keith Robinson's in the movie. Like, I love that. Anyway, but it was tremendous fun. I have so many Cellar stories though. Yeah. Chris Rock's on stage and there's this drunk white kid in a suit with 2 girls on either side of him. He's not being a dick. He's just like blah 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 blah. He's just like trying to be part of the show. Chris Rock's just talking over him. So I was like, oh, I'll do that too. So I'm next. So you can follow. It's easy to follow celebrities to the Cellar because they're always trying new stuff. So you can go up there and seem like a genius. Ride
the wave.
So I do that. I'm talking over the guy. He's like blah 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 blah. I'm just talking over him. Next is Sherrod Small. You know Sherrod?
No, I don't. I don't know Sherrod.
He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
He was probably one of my better friends in comedy. So he goes on. So we all go upstairs to the Cellar. Well, I go upstairs to the Cellar.
And when you mean go upstairs, so everybody knows,
the Olive Tree Cafe.
The Olive Tree Cafe downstairs is the McDougal room, as they call it. Yeah, that's the hot. That's
the original place.
Yeah.
So we're upstairs, and above the bar is a small TV that shows you what's going on stage.
Yep.
So as I'm talking to like Russ Eve and like Chappelle, whoever was there, I look up and I see Sherrod doing this on stage, and just people running around. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So I go downstairs. And there's mayhem. So apparently what happened was 2 Italian kids in the back got annoyed at this drunk kid and smashed a beer mug over his head. So now I go outside to smoke a cigarette. I'm talking to Sherrod. We're like, well, that's crazy. I guess the show's on hold right now. And then cops come. They put the 2 Italian kids in the car. The guy comes out covered in blood. He goes, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue this place. The ambulance is on his way. I'm going to sue the ambulance. And then he goes, I'm an innocent bystander. So I looked at him, I go, you're not that innocent. And he looks at me like, why is this guy? He was funny, I liked him. Why is he being mean? So then the next day, my mother calls me. And she goes, what's going to happen with the Cellar? Hey, what do you mean? She goes, the Cellar, Donald Trump Jr. got attacked at the Cellar. And I go, that was Donald Trump Jr.? And then she goes, yeah. And I'm like, holy shit. So I never forgot this. I went to the Cellar the next day, and Manny, the owner of the Cellar, who I loved, is sitting there with Chappelle, Patrice, and Nick DiPaolo, and Colin Quinn, and he's laughing. He's got the New York Post, and the cover is, Trump's going to sue the Cellar. Chris Rock being called in as a witness, I swear to God, and he's laughing. And I go, Manny, aren't you concerned? He goes, you can't buy publicity like this.
No, you can't.
And I realized Donald Trump he's promoting himself too. It was all just promotion. I'm sure as a dad he was upset, and I think they spoke later on. Manny appealed to him as a father. But at the time, I'm pretty sure they both just were like, hey, look, promotion,
Wait, so when you say Donald Trump Jr., you're talking about Donald Trump, the president? Or Donald Trump? Because, wait.
Donald Trump.
What's Donald's son name?
Donald Trump Jr.
So they're both named Donald Trump Jr.?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he got attacked at the Cellar. I'll never forget it. So when the country was going crazy, I'm like I don't know, I'm very familiar with this family. I don't know, they're pretty crazy.
The only Donald Trump story I have, which was kind of weird, was I was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner the night Barack Obama kind of pissed him off and made him want to run.
Right.
At the court because he had a bunch of jokes about him.
Wow.
So I'm interviewing Donald Trump on the red carpet with Melania.
Wow.
And he looks at me and goes, oh, me and my wife, we watch you every night, like in a sexy way. And I was like, oh, that's gross. Like, it was very weird. It was just like an awful, like, we watch you every night. And Melania was like, yeah. And I was like, ooh, this is pretty disgusting. This is disgusting. So you go through this in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And you do guest roles now.
Yeah.
You still do the comedy. You're at the Comedy Cellar.
Stand-up comedy is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this club, what were you going to say?
No. I just love, because this club I started a little bit after that, like probably about 6 months ago.
Right.
Only 6 months at this club, the Cellar.
Yeah.
But
it's
family, bro.
Yeah,
it's family.
They're so good.
Yeah.
I remember I love Esty. I love Noam. No, they take care of me. I called them. I said, I got MS, and I don't know if I want to get on an airplane right now because I have lowered immune system. And they were like, oh, we'll book you at Vegas. Like, well, thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what club do you know that would do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're so nice. So I could just drive to Vegas. But I love them. And you are fucking killing it.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
We're not making it easy. We're up there talking about dicks. We're talking about ass fucking. I at least 8 of my jokes ended shitting. And you go up talking about your family, and the crowd's like, yay. I'm like, that shows you that there are no rules to comedy. Like you would think that putting 4 dirty people before you would fuck you up. It doesn't.
Oh,
you're killing.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm very impressed, man.
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
If I were you, I would have complained and complained and complained. But you were like, just fuck it.
No, you know what I love? I love that everybody, no matter what type of content they do, everybody crushes here.
That's why I love the Cellar is amazing.
And you just ride the wave.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, to me, if everybody's laughing, if your shit's funny, they're going to laugh.
Exactly.
No matter what.
Yeah.
I don't care what the person before me is talking about.
The only person I had a hard time following was Patrice O'Neal and Leslie Jones.
Leslie
Jones, it's like a cartoon walked on stage. You know what I mean? Like she's jumping around.
I gotta
and
be
you're
honest with you. The only person I've struggled, and I've went after tons of big comedians. I didn't know her at the time.
Who?
Jessica Kirson.
Oh yeah, she kills.
Fucking monster, bro.
Yeah.
Monster.
All you gotta do is reference them.
And that's what I learned.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to ride the wave.
Yeah.
You got this for any new comic that's coming up or anybody in the comedy industry. You will see comedians, if they don't acknowledge the person before them that just destroyed, they will die a slow death on stage because you have to view it like the audience does. You got to acknowledge, wow. Yeah. Like, and that's what I learned that after the Jessica curse. It literally took me 2 minutes to get everybody back.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I've learned that after Dave Attell. I would follow Dave Attell a lot. Mm-hmm. And Dave Attell's up there going, it's Halloween tonight, or as the pedophile community calls it, the Super Bowl. Like, how am I going to go up there talking about sneezing?
Yeah.
After that, I have to make a transition.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I don't think my jokes are going to be anything like that. I'll just reference it.
Just reference them, yeah.
It helps. I don't know why.
It does, because now the audience knows you acknowledge them, and then it kind of resets the room for you.
Yeah.
You know, if the slow death is they destroy, and then you just go up doing jokes, people are like, no, they haven't recovered from this other person.
Exactly.
So any new comedians out there, definitely learn how to reset the room, because I went off to Jessica Kirson, and I just thought, oh, she crushed, I'm a crush.
Yeah, but she's definitely at her peak right now. She's been quietly building.
Oh, she's a monster.
Yeah, I've known her for at least 25 years, and so...
Isn't it crazy that you can be in the game for 25 years and then, like, I'm sure comedians know she crushed, but now the world is finding out she crushed.
Bill Burr backing her helped. A lot of people that know you for a long time.
Yeah.
And you don't get your due. Like, Jessica's always been kind and professional, and I think, and funny. And, like, I didn't know her. She played the comic strip, but I never saw her at the Cellar. And all of a sudden I come back one time. She's famous. She's got a famous podcast, a famous special, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking everything I did was before the fucking Facebook and YouTube, and I get a little jealous sometimes.
Yeah. No, I can understand.
I have to show people pictures. I was on TV. So
it's kind of like these people that long before you that never get any residuals from their TV shows, and they're still fucking playing.
Art Carney, probably the greatest. He invented the side character of sitcoms on the very first sitcom ever. Didn't get any residuals at all for honeymoons. Not one.
See?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Now, you were on Mad Men, too.
I was on Mad Men.
Now, what seasons were you on? Because they did 4 or 5, right?
Well, I was on the opening. We had 5 million people watch it. It was the opening episode of season 5.
Okay.
So I come in at the end, and then they reference my character again at the end of season 5. So, you ever watch the show?
I did the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
It's a very, I love Matthew Weiner, I think his name is, and John Hamm. But to me, the first season, it was a very slow-moving show. Yeah. But it was beautifully shot.
There's a movie called The Seventh Samurai, and it's so slow.
Yeah.
And then when it ends and everybody gets killed, it means so much more.
Yeah.
Because you watch them all for 3 hours. So they always say it's like reducing a sauce. Like you boil a sauce and it reduces, it tastes really good. So Mad Men, you watch these characters talk and talk and talk, and then when one kills himself or one gets fired, it means so much more to you.
More.
Yeah. So I understand that, because I hate slow moving shows, but it also helped because Christina Hendricks was in it.
There you go.
So that kind of helped keep you rocking.
So is there any cool stories from Mad Men?
That
you had?
Well, it's just more of an acting story. You act. So this is like, I have a scene with Jaron Harris, and my line is, you're a real gentleman. So I go, you're a real gentleman. And they come up to me and they go, it's not you're a, it's you're, meaning you're a real gentleman, not you're a real gentleman. They wouldn't even let me stutter. So I was like, okay, you can't. I look at Jared Harris. I go, they don't like you fucking. He goes, oh, you have no idea. They don't.
Oh, so they were lying on.
Yeah. So I was like, I like to add something to everything I do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do I add? So I'll add something physical. And usually as a guest role, they'll, like I did an episode of Harry's Law with Kathy Bates.
Yep.
And
she's great, by the way.
I worked with her on my birthday, and I told her this is my birthday. She was like, no, how come you not? I was like, because I don't want anybody to know. I'm just happy to act with you on my birthday. And at the end of the week, she was like, happy secret birthday, which was a little creepy.
Yeah.
I loved, but she was so nice to me.
Yeah.
And so so in that show, I say somebody committed suicide, and I decided to get sad for a second and then continue my line. As a guest role, to save time, they cut my pause.
Yeah.
So it looks like I'm going, my friend committed suicide. Anyway, like, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
In Mad Men, they left in every physical huff, puff, eye roll.
Because it's a slower show.
Yeah. And also they realized that it helps the acting. Like, they would go 5 minutes over if they had to. It would be an hour and 5 minutes, you know? So, so there's a scene where Jared Harris stole the picture of my girlfriend from my wallet. Mm-hmm. And he gives me back my wallet. So I'm a New Yorker. I'm counting the money. Mm-hmm. And then I look at him, like, and he thinks
about the picture.
Yeah, but I just made that up. That I stopped and looked at him. So he was like, he froze. Like, did he just? Is he saying that he knows the picture's gone? But really, I'm a New Yorker. So look at him like, you didn't steal any money. You know what I mean? So,
now.
But it created this great moment, and they were like, do that longer, make him sweat. And as an actor, that was fucking awesome.
That's great.
To create something on Mad Men, that an actor's show, and say, do that more.
Now, what made you come to that choice? Like, did you practice that, or was that something in the moment?
I just want attention.
Yeah, you want the camera on you.
I was like, I'm finally on Mad Men. Mm-hmm. It's a good part.
Yeah.
And also, it helps when you know, if you go do a set and you throw in one new line,
you won.
Suddenly, the whole fucking act is better.
Yeah.
You know why? Remember yesterday I was saying I didn't enjoy my sets yesterday?
Yeah.
You know why? I didn't throw in anything new. But on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I did. So I was like, tonight I'm going to throw in a new joke every show, because it'll bring to life the rest of the stuff.
There's this.
So that's what acting is like.
I got you. I totally know where. I mean, you could do a set and it's crushing, but in your mind, you're not even in it.
No, yeah.
The crowd's laughing. They're like, but you just kind of checked out.
Yeah. That was last night.
Yeah. So my thing is, I'm trying to get this new special out. So I love, I'm glad you said that, you know, how the sets are going, because my stuff is 100% about family.
Yeah.
And I know if I'm doing that after the content of other people, like when it's my crowd and my show, it feels so good.
But what's great, I literally leave the stage doing a joke about pedophilia and then phone sex. And then an act out about phone sex.
And it crushes. Because I hear the laughter, and I love that, though. And it's destroying.
And then I go in there and I sit down, and I hear a big laugh with you, and I go, it's like it didn't even exist. That's the first thing I think. I was like, Michael's fucking great. But really, you're a nice guy. You're fucking strong act. You're professional. You're good looking. You're gonna have a great career, man.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
I'm very confident.
Well, let me ask you this then. For the people that are in the industry, either comedy or acting, what is like a mistake you made, or something you regret, or a piece of great advice for anybody in the game?
There's a lot. There's so many ways. I'm gonna go through everything I know. All that matters in this business is momentum, heat, or are you good looking? So, a good looking person can suddenly be thrown, like Megan Fox, just all of a sudden on Transformers. The reason my acting career slowed down was because my momentum had stopped.
Yeah.
So when Bill Burr had 3 hours in his head by the time that incident in Philadelphia happened. So by the time he was in Philadelphia, he was prepared to have 2 specials back to back.
So and what you're saying is basically the Philadelphia incident that people don't know. Oh, it was at a radio show.
No, it was in a fucking theater. It was an Opie and Anthony comedy show at a theater.
Yeah, but it was sponsored by some radio DJ, Opie and Anthony, right? So all these they're booing everybody, and Bill Burr says, "No, I'm not getting off," and he just goes at the crowd, and it goes viral.
He just couldn't wait to leave. He was like, 10 more minutes. They booed Dom Herrera, and you don't boo Dom Herrera for comedians, and he's a godfather.
Yeah.
So I think my point is preparation. The best advice I ever got. I was an intern for Comedy Channel, And there was a show called X57, and it had Stephen Colbert on it and Amy Sedaris from Strangers with Candy.
Yeah.
And I was an intern. Like, I was bringing them soda and jelly beans and shit. And I look up, and just recently they had an HBO Young Comedian special on TV. And it had Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, Gene Pompa, David Tell. Did I say David?
Yep.
Dave Chappelle, David Tell, Gene Pompa, Louis C.K., a few other people. And so I walk up, and they're at the party. I go, what the fuck? They're at the rap party of the show. So I walked up to them, and I'm so new. Like, I had done like maybe 5 shows. So I walked up to them and said, guys, do you have any advice for a new comic? I might as well throw a dead baby in the room. You know what I mean? Like, they're having fun. I fucking just did that. They all walk away. Like, but I don't blame them. Louis C.K. was like, oh, yeah. David Tell had a cigarette. Like, he walked away. And then fucking, I'll never forget, Dave Chappelle was like, oh, Jesus. You know? And then Gene Pompa, he's this great comic. He took a step up to me, and he put his arm on my shoulder, and he said, get the best 15 minutes you have and sell that. And that's all I did. And when comics are like, how did you get in the Cellar? How did you get in Gotham? How did you get in? I was like, I got the best 15 minutes I could, and I sold it. I would go to club. And when I got into the Cellar, I was professional. Esty would be in the bottom of the staircase. Hi, Robert Kelly recommended me to you. Here's my VHS tape. I'll watch it soon. Come back.
VHS tape,
come back later. Hi, did you get a chance? I haven't watched it yet. Okay, I'll check.
How long did it take her?
About 2 months. But what was good about me was that I was in out. She's busy. Mm-hmm. So, did you watch the tape? Nope. I'll check back later. I didn't hang out. Can I get a free drink? Can I watch the show? None of that shit.
Did you?
Don't fucking hang out and think, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Was she still always watching? Well, I guess, did they have just sitting at that bar?
Yeah, she was protective of Colin and Daryl Hammond. She knew that if the celebrities are happy, then the show will be fun. Yeah. So, like, she would make sure that the show started off great. I love Esty. I'm still terrified of her 25 years later.
I talk to her all the time. I've never met her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited to meet. I met Liz, though. She's a fire. I love Liz. Liz is great.
It's the greatest club in the world, and it always will be. And I travel the world. Yeah. And other comedians in other countries ask about the Cellar. So if that doesn't tell you that it's not the best club in the world, then I don't know what will. You know what I mean? It literally is. And this is basically me saying, please book me again. I really need the money.
Brian Scolaro, how can people find you and things like that?
I'll find brianscolaro.com or it's Scolaro. And also, I've got a YouTube channel. I haven't paid attention to it until this year. Yeah. So if you want to subscribe to that, if you go to my video page and scroll down, it's got so much shit on it. And subscribe. I need fool me into thinking my career's still going. All right. Help me. Keep me off the ledge.
Well, like I said, you're one of the nice ones. And honestly, backstage, you play this image like you're a tough guy.
No, I don't.
You do. Like, hey, you're a tough guy.
I just come off that way because I'm fat. And I'm tired. But
you're a teddy bear.
I'm a teddy bear. But I really don't try to be tough. I think I had a few drinks in me. And it's hard to talk over Dean Del Rey. His voice is so fucking loud.
Because he's a rocker, man.
Yeah, exactly. His hearing went years ago. So I'm like, I seem tough because I'm trying to talk over Dean.
All right. Well, all you guys subscribe, listen, comment to the podcast, spread the word. Thank you for joining the Yo Show.
Thanks, Mike.